I don't know what you did, but you did it right. Girl, you make it look so easy. Everywhere you go, heads turning left and right. Can't say you a dime, you're a 20-piece. Cause girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put that grown on. Why you gotta look so good, good. With your hair done, nails done, when you put that grown on, girl. Why you gotta look so good? I can look and see you're not an average chick. You're shutting it down everywhere you go. Girl, I want you as bad as I want a check. Cause you're sexy from head to toe. Girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put your grown on. It's something about you when you put your grown on. When you're waking up straight out of bed, girl, why you gotta look so good? Oh, when you're at the job just taking a break, girl, why you gotta look so good? In the club turning up, why you gotta look so good? On the dance floor, giving more. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Girl, you know you be killing them when you be getting your own woman. No, why you gotta look so good? With your hair done and your nails done, when you put that grown on, girl, why you gotta look so good? Girl, why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good?
Greetings. Wow, feels like we have not been here in a minute.
It does feel like that.
Welcome, Turn Up Life audience. We missed 1 week, but yeah, it still feels like we haven't been here in a long time.
It does.
And just as a reminder, we won't be in the studio for the next few weeks to a month. They're doing some things to revamp the studio, so we'll be back in the studio in April. But we will be doing some things remotely between now and then. So definitely stay tuned to the Turn Up Life Facebook, page and YouTube channel, and we'll still have some great information to share with you guys. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm on 10 right now. Listen, first of all, I'm still super excited from the Legacy Awards weekend.
Oh my goodness, it was amazing.
Wow.
It was amazing, and you did that.
Man.
People are still talking about your pound cakes, your cookies. I know they've been blowing you up.
I've been getting a lot of business from that. So let's start off the show right. I'm Aziza Lisa here with you with my Sister Africa.
Hey, everybody.
And our special guest, and he is amazing.
Yes.
Cannot wait to get into discussion with him over all the great things that he's doing that a lot of us can really learn from in terms of giving back in the community, character, just the whole nine. Mr. Jamal Green, welcome.
Right. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. So we're going to start off, actually, before we get to the quote, we always start off the show with a nice quote, and we start discussion on that. But going back to these Legacy Awards, Miss Kiana, man, Barbara, she's wonderful. I mean, just everything that she put together with that Legacy Awards gala. I understand it had been a gala for 6 years, but this year was the first year they actually incorporated a conference as well.
Correct.
And just to be a part of that, if you're not familiar with her work, definitely you want to get in tune with what she's doing, because it benefits business owners, it benefits those that are trying to help business owners and just give back to the community. Her conference weekend was chock full of information. Many amazing speakers dealing with marketing and promotions,
branding, business credit, business development, everything.
Yeah, strategies.
They even touched on the Ukraine war and how it affects people of African descent.
Yes.
And brought it home in terms of what does that mean for us as business owners, which is a very important conversation to have.
It really is. It really is. I didn't know that so much wheat came from Ukraine. For me being a baker, that affects my prices.
That's right. That's right.
For restaurant owners, it affects their prices. It's like, everything we're going to see costs going up with quite a bit, not just gas prices, food prices, everything is just getting ready to skyrocket. So just be prepared for that and plan and be smart. That's all I can say. Yeah.
And I think it speaks to us understanding what's happening there and how it affects us here, but also our strength is always in our unity.
Absolutely.
We lose because we don't have information.
Yeah.
We don't have a clue what's connected with what it means for us as small business owners or large business owners or people that do education. It affects a lot of different entities, but we don't know that because we're disconnected.
Yes, yeah. And like you said, just not being in unity is key, because as, for instance, the Legacy Awards and what that function was all about, it was about us coming together, supporting each other, and for her to just have that space, that platform where the focus needs to be more and more in that area. Find out, what's Black owned.
That's right.
And
be intentional about supporting
Yes,
it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And it was at the Malcolm X College.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I just think as we move forward, we should always consider doing business with us.
Yeah.
Having our events at our venues, putting our money together, creating more venues that are large enough to house us at numbers like that. I just think we have to be a lot more intentional. We're doing a great job, but we got a lot to do.
We got a lot to do. We got a lot to do. Looking back, Black Wall Street and where we were during that era as a people, our mindset was just totally different. It was all about us building our own and having our own, our own Black community, own Black America.
That's
then, I was having this discussion with someone. We strayed away from that, and everything was about integrating, and as powerful as that seemed, to integrate and be part of society, and the longing to want to do that, that took away, from what we were already building and establishing, and to the point to where it crushed it.
Oh, absolutely. I think to your point, we thought their ice was colder, I'm told. We thought the grass was greener.
There you go.
Only to come back to today.
Absolutely.
Where has it gotten us?
Yeah.
We need each other more than ever.
Yes.
Teachers used to look just like us. Our children grew up with black teachers. Now we have them teaching us, and we are not better off.
Oh, absolutely.
So it goes across the board, not just in business, but education.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's standing in front of your child for 18 hours a day? Yes. Are they really invested in your child? Do they really care about your child?
You know what, sis? And
9 times out of 10, they don't want to be around
they
our
don't
children.
listen.
Ain't never babysat.
Oh.
Don't have their own. Don't know what it's like.
They don't
teaching
have
our
a clue.
children, going back to Naperville, wherever they from.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I recall just, now that we're speaking on that point. And
I'm sorry,
I don't know
why I wanted to.
No, really. And I'm glad you did, actually, because I don't know, Jamal, based on your age, what you experienced, from a school standpoint, in terms of the busing. And I think that was our era.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, to be a part of that. I remember my third grade teacher, Miss Foy. And she was a beast, and she was a classy black woman. I mean, she reminded you so much of Cicely Tyson. And everything was about, it wasn't just about education. It was about your poise. It was about your character. I mean, she stayed on that. You hear me?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
It was about building and showing you love. It was about building community. And when the busing happened, and I remember us transferring to different schools and different teachers, you could feel that energy. The care, the concern was not there. As a child, you felt that, And so the parents are going along with it, going along to get along. Nobody was putting up a fight about it, but the children, we felt that.
Oh, yeah.
You felt the difference.
But when you talk about children feeling things, they just redid the Dow test. And in that Dow test of 1973, they had a daycare center with 2- and 3-year-olds, and they asked them, which Dow is the smartest? Which Dow is the prettiest? All of the black children, year after year, choose the white Dow.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine at 2 and 3 years old, that's on your mind.
Absolutely.
You know who is treated the best. You know who is smarter, but you're only 2, so you just got to the universe.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that you know that at that young age,
absolutely,
that's a lot.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The subconscious mind, how it is affected through images on television, through so many things that we see from a young age. You don't know the impact that has until, like you say, you do a test like that, and then you see a 2 or 3 year old and their response, and you're like, how did they get there?
Yeah, how did they even know? A Dow can't talk.
How did they arrive?
How do you know if the Dow is smart?
Absolutely, right, yeah. So, okay, let's keep it moving. But, turn up life. I mean, it's about you understanding what you're experiencing too, so that you can do something about it and be proactive.
Absolutely.
Unless we have these talks, a lot of times it's like you feel a certain type of way, but you really don't know why or where it came from. We've got to have discussions.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's begin this show with Mr. Jamal Green here. And our quote actually today is about consistency. Before I give this quote, and actually the post that I put on Instagram, I found a song, and it wasn't really a song. It was more of a motivational words behind your picture. I wanted to put something behind your picture, and this one just hit me, and it was about consistency. And I just thought that spoke to you and who you were as soon as I heard it, because, I have... I interviewed you, I want to say 2016. It's been a long time ago, and we were actually kind of wrapping up what we were doing at the time, trying to see which direction we were going in with Turn Up Life. We had a show that we had taped, and Jamal was one of the guests. Yes. And at that time, he was working on a community center. He was in the community doing work with the center. And just to come full circle, here we are, 2022, you're still... doing what you do. Yeah. And that, to me, speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
You have to be consistent in whatever you say you love, whatever you say that you're passionate about, whatever you say you're trying to change. And a lot of people just are not. They talk the talk, but a lot of people are not walking the walk. So for you to still not just be doing the same thing, you've taken yours to much higher levels, and you're doing many things right now that are very impressive. So we're going to start off the show today with a couple of quotes about consistency. This one is just, the secret to success is constancy, which constancy is the same thing as consistency. The secret to success is constancy of purpose. So if you know your purpose and you're living in your purpose and you're constantly and consistently doing what you say you love to do, you're passionate about, you know, and this is what my mission is. Yeah. And you're just doing, that's success. That is success. And I have to say, you absolutely have been successful and are being successful in the different things that you're involved in. Okay, and one more. Actually, I got two more, but I'm gonna end with this second one for right now. And the next one is by Miss Maya Angelou, so we definitely want to throw that one in or bring that to the table as well. But consistency is what transforms average into excellence. So, I mean, just put that into play with anything you're doing. If I'm consistently baking a cake, of course I'm going to get better and better at it.
Absolutely. If I'm consistently working out, I'm going to
hey, yes. We understand. You see results. It's like it transforms from that average to now you're excellent at what you're doing. And I got those quotes once again because you've been consistent. Oh, yeah. With the work that you're doing. So I've got this last one by Miss Maya Angelou. It's powerful as well, and I definitely did not want to forget this one because we already know how powerful Miss Maya Angelou was and is. That's right. Her words.
Women's History Month.
Shout out Women's History Month. So Miss Maya Angelou says, and it's not specifically about consistency, it's really about courage, okay? Courage is the most important of all the virtues because without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind, we can't be true, we can't be merciful, generous, or honest. So, and for me, just looking at you and your work, not just consistency, but definitely courage. You recently were arrested, you know, for protesting against the Van Dyke, you know, situation. And you've been on top of that, you know, since it started. So once again, it takes courage to do that. Yeah. You know, who else is standing up? You were with the Laquan 9, a group of 9 individuals who are definitely protesting and making, you know, making their presence known, having their voices heard in regards to what's going on about that. So not only are you giving back to the community in terms of food drives and helping with home ownership and discussions, powerful discussions between our young black men and our elders, but also, you know, the My Turn to Own program, helping black men to own homes. That's right. So we want to get right into it and introduce our special guest, Mr. Jamal Green. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blessing watching you guys with so much amazing your thoughts and amazing wisdom. So I'm enjoying it. So thank you.
Thank you. So tell us first of all, since I mentioned the Laquan Mcdonald situation first and the arrest, just give us a little bit on what's happening with that.
Well, you know, none of us were arrested by the U.S. Marshals, probably the first activists ever to get arrested by the federal government. You know, usually it's by city police. So we were arrested by the feds. They also said they were the first to. This was the first situation that they've ever had like this. You know, to call out because we got Jason Van Dyke who did 3 years in jail for pumping 16 bullets into a 17-year-old, and we all understand that if it was us behind that trigger, where we would be. Absolutely. And so one of the things was to the feds. This has been many years in the making. This went in front of a grand jury many years ago, and never nothing came out of it. Yeah. You know, where is any type of accountability to show Van Dyke? And we've seen it in other cities. Look at Minnesota. You know, they moved 4 federal charges against Chauvin for the George Floyd case. Yeah. Look at in Atlanta, you know, and Georgia, where, you know, those 3 men just, you know, they hit them with federal hate crime charges. It is the norm, right, for the feds to come in after the state case. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet. So the fight continues. Laquan Mcdonald could have been anything in the world. And 17 years old, you know, 16 bullets, and $5 million of hush money. Was not accountability for what happened to him. And so there's just much more work to be done. But I want to give a big shout out to William Calloway, who, and my brother since the beginning, and we've been fighting for Laquan since day one. He was there the day before. I was there the next day.
Okay.
But we've been there since day one.
Yes.
And he spends his life trying to get accountability and justice for Laquan. So big shout out to William Calloway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love you,
shout
Will.
out.
Yeah,
because we actually interviewed Calloway at UBM. You remember that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's where we first met him when we were over at
did.
UBM together, and he was doing work then. So shout out.
Wow, sure.
Thank you, bro, for the work that you're doing. You are much appreciated.
Absolutely.
If you didn't know, you're much loved and appreciated. Keep going. Yeah. So other than your community activism, you're actually, spearheading a program now to help Black men to own homes. Tell us why. Why is that so important?
So let me first say, my turn to own was bred out of the fact that, there's been a lot of lending disparities in our community, and not enough of us are taking advantage of being able to create generational wealth and become stakeholders in our community. When you look at the numbers, you look at white communities own 75% of their homes. Hispanics are about 45%. Blacks are in the late 30s. So we are at the bottom when it comes to home ownership, and that is one of the biggest ways of how to build wealth in America. Actually, the first way is real estate. And so My Turn to Own is a program where folks can come in and we will show them how to become a homeowner from A to B, but we will educate them on strategy, on equity, and everything that they need to know, and building generational wealth and being educated. Every Wednesday we do Wealthy Wednesdays and have been doing it for the last 6 months straight. We do Equity Saturdays where we take folks to different homes that are on the market, teach them about everything. This is the price range here, the comps in the area. You can get this home and put a little money into it. This will be the equity. We really teach them everything so they really understand what equity is and what owning really is, not just throwing you into a home.
Right.
One of the things that we saw after, moving for $5 million in loans over a couple months is one of those, only one was a man. And so Man on a Mission was bred out of the fact that we wanted more men to come into the process and become homeowners and understand their role in the community. One thing about it is, we got to show major love to Black women who have been holding us down for the last few decades. But we really got to understand that they can't continue doing this. Right. When you talk about long-term success in the Black community, it does not mean that 70% plus households should still be Black women, single Black women hold it down, because that does not equal a successful Black community. And so we got to change that. We got to rebuild family structures. We got to create 2-parent households. We have to own homes. Like, these are the things that's needed so that we can have better children, because with doing that, we got better schools, more funding to the schools. We got more time for the kids. We got, there's so much that comes from just being a homeowner.
Yes.
And so that's our main goal. So now every Monday we go into barbershops, a different barbershop around the city, to bring men in the process, just have these conversations. Like, what's holding you back, as a person? And, whether it is trauma, right? Talking about the need for therapy. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. That's been passed down through our communities for many years. So now we need to talk about the healing and therapy. And let's talk about what are some of the barriers, folks coming home from jail, or I got a business, but I ain't got paperwork. I ain't got taxes, or I got to be under the table because I got child support. There's a lot of different dynamics to bringing Black men back into the ownership, or really back into the community, so that they can rebuild family structure. And that's what Man on a Mission is about. And we've been having an amazing conversation. And we have 20-25 men every week, and from young as 18 all the way up to as old as 71, I think was probably our eldest. So all in different age ranges, talking about what do we do going forward to rebuild the community, and what does building that cultural foundation look like for the next generation of young people? It's just so much work that need to be done.
So much work. And I mean, you said the key thing, empowering, doing different things to empower our Black man is what is key. Because like you say, there's so many different situations, so many different circumstances. There's not a cookie cutter, way to resolve all of this. You've got to go in, you've got to have discussion, with people and find out, okay, what's what? Where do you need help?
Right.
Versus, hey, this is what I'm offering. Everybody should be able to benefit, get on it. That may not work for me. I may have some other things going on that need special attention.
Right. And it opens them up because, sometimes folks, we prideful. And so we like to hold certain situations in. But when we open those conversations, then they get to come up and Jamal, hey, this was really going on, man. Man, I let somebody use my car. Then they start getting into it. And then now I'm able to be like, okay, this is what you got to do. Do this X, Y, and Z. And then we'll pull you in. And so it's just about getting them to open up. And they've been relaxed. I mean, they've just been amazing conversations. And they've been vulnerable and actually talking about the problems that they're having amongst other Black men, and it's just been a beauty to see.
And you know what? I think that as a community and sisters, we got to realize it is what it is. Yeah. When Black men get together, just like we say, when women get together, the conversation is different. The same thing applies. Yeah. I'm really impressed at the fact that it's being held in barbershops in a comfortable setting for Black men to talk, because that's not something that women need to be. I mean, I'm not sure if you have any women present, but I'm just saying sisters don't need to. Yeah, okay. But that's Sister Africa, so that's different.
Right. She one of the guys.
Respect on that name.
No, you gotta have auntie in there somewhere. That's all I'm saying. But I'm saying in general, just it reminds me. I'm reflecting now back to the Million Man March,
absolutely,
and just the tension that started, coming about during that time from women, and I'm like, really, man, our Black men need to be empowered. They need so much. Yes. And here it is. It's a march. It's specifically about them. It's specifically about them getting together with no conflict, just peaceful. Doesn't matter what your religion is, what your school you went to, what organization you're part of. It's just about being a Black man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on that. Let's just be proud of this moment. Yeah. And why take that away?
Because they fed into the propaganda, and they fed into the feminist movements that wasn't for us. And the reality of the situation is we have to get back into a situation where we understand that we are all valuable to each other, and there is no, I could do bad by myself, and there's no, I don't need men, or I don't need women. Like there's no culture in the world that
me, myself, and I.
There's none. There's no successful culture in the world where you will ever see everybody's doing their own thing. That's just not how it works. And we need folks to build families, and we need to build villages so we can all look after each other and each other kids. Like that's how every other culture has survived and been successful to this day. There's a reason why we're at the bottom, and that's one of the biggest things. We have no family structure. Look at the richest and the wealthiest families in America. They're families, right? Yes. So you got that name, and you pass it down, and then you get married, you pass it down. There's the structure there and hierarchy, and we don't have any of that. And that just has to change if we want to see success. When I asked my business partner, who also has a company to help folks with foreclosures, I asked him, I said, well, tell me the numbers of the foreclosure rates when it comes to the Black community. Are they majority women or men? He said their vast majority are Black women. And so we got to understand that. I know, we love, first of all, I come from a single mama. I come from a single mother who owned her home, right? But the gas was off sometime. We had the lights off sometime.
What kind of booty bread?
Making it happen.
We was eating booty bread. Like, I had to teach Africa about booty bread last week.
Wait a minute. Go into booty bread. I'm sorry. I remember the mayonnaise sandwiches, the
booty bread sandwiches. Is the end pieces of the bread that ain't nobody want. Everybody reach over that piece.
I like the end pieces.
Yeah, but back in the day, them the last two pieces, but that's all you got to eat. You gonna eat them. You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from. You feel me? The real when it ain't nothing else. Like, hey, I gotta grab this booty bread, make me a grilled cheese
sandwich.
sandwich.
I never heard it called that.
I'm like, what is
Reese, you heard that? my God.
When you in the hood, you understand, though. You know,
Don't do that.
I understand y'all's a little privileged. It's okay. But listen, we came up high. So.
What are you talking about?
But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it was rough on my mom. While she was able to do it, she was able to provide the best life that she felt that she could provide. She worked all day and nights and, you know, barely could spend the time that she, you know, wanted to spend with us because she was trying to at least make ends meet. That is not how we sustain families, you know. We make it through, and we all say we survived, and my mama did good, but that's just
it's time to thrive.
It's time to
though.
thrive. You know what I'm saying?
Not
We
just
Two
survive.
incomes is way better than one.
Right,
Two nurturers is way better than
we need that. We need that structure.
Absolutely.
We need that.
And like you say, that's what we're lacking. You don't see in any other culture where they're lacking their foundation.
Yes.
That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
we're lacking.
Right
That cultural foundation is missing. It's missing, and we got to rebuild it. So what we've been talking about in the barbershops, and our future goal is bringing those black men together and say, let's start from the basics. What does it mean to be a man? You know what I'm saying? What does it mean? Let's start from the basics. Let's put it down on paper. You know, like from getting up, you know, to spending time with kids, to you know, your involvement in a community, you know, being a part of village, your work. Like, let's start to figure out what's our real foundation so we can have something to pass down and teach to our kids and teach to the kids that have none, that are walking around without love or care. You know, let's start to rebuild that. That's needed.
You know, and as you're talking, we have a lot of conversations, you know, amongst one another with different things that are going on, different issues we're facing, different things we're trying to overcome. And, you know, this show is about, the focus is on self-care first.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and then it's about building and giving back to the community. And I have to say self-care first because if you don't love yourself, that's the first thing. I gotta love who I am.
There you go.
You know, I mean, I got to be feeling me first before I can transfer that energy on or help to build anything else. Other than that, I'm talking the talk. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not even feeling it inside. So, you know, some of the discussions that you're saying, you know, that you're having, I mean, I know all of them are needed. You know, from self-care to, you know, mental health.
Let me say
everything.
this: there's nobody in the black community at this time in this world that don't need therapy, because we have generational trauma that has been passed down. Everybody needs some form of healing, you know, and it's just real. You think you can look back all the way from, you know, before slavery, then slavery, and kids growing up that way and watching they dads treated how they was on those fields, and they mamas treated how they was in the house, and then you get out of slavery and you pass it down like that stuff is we dang near born with a lot of trauma, right, that was passed down. And when have we ever healed our community and rebuilt that foundation? So everyone needs to figure out, this is a time of healing where everyone needs to understand like what has made me feel any of the ways that I feel, you know, being in tune with yourselves and building that self-esteem and knowing that you can be anything that you want to be. There's no all of that is so important, because when you look at what we're doing, when you look at how the majority of black community are essential workers working the lowest paid jobs in the world, when we were the ones who built everything in this country. We, you know, not everybody came from kings and queens, but a lot of folks came from kings and queens, and a lot of folks got ancestors who, you know, you look at the adventures of white people cannot go a day without black inventions. It's just not possible. You get in the car, Richard Spikes invented the gear shift. You know, like the Garrett Morgan invented the stoplight. We have done so many great things, but we need the education, but we need that healing so that we can know that we can get up and do anything. Absolutely. And not have anything holding us back.
Absolutely. Wow, I love it. You know, so not only is it imperative that those conversations, you know, take place with just black men, just, you know, our young black men, our elders, but also I saw something else that you were doing about an expo dealing with health. You know, so again, it's that same energy of helping people to, focusing on self-care and health. And
that's all intertwined. That's all intertwined because, you can't be your best you if you on a diet constantly. I mean, look at our communities. They put us in communities where, we're in the most polluted communities near the refineries, and it is no coincidence that we're number one in all of the major diseases, right? Heart disease, diabetes, asthma, all of these different things that are controlled by the way that we eat.
All the dialysis centers that are popping up
all
everywhere.
the dialysis centers, like this is all from the way that we eat. Yeah. And if you walk into our neighborhoods, the majority of them are food deserts. Majority of them don't have grocery stores.
Absolutely.
Majority of them got a McDonald's and Checkers and Burger King on every corner. There are no healthy food options. There is no education on it either. Yeah. And all of that has been by design because they sign off on all these things to come to the neighborhood knowing that these neighborhoods are food deserts. So when you talk about that health piece, it's important because the way that we eat is the way that we feel, right? And I'll take a quote that I heard yesterday. The quote was, when you are born, you look like your mother and your father. But when you die, you look like the decisions that you made.
That was my father that said that.
I love that.
He knocked me out when he said that. I was in there like,
and it's
I love that.
It's real. It's real.
Definitely real.
Yeah. So we gotta the health piece is what I'm pushing. I'm trying to be vegan as much as I'm trying.
I'm so proud
it's
of
hard.
you.
I'm trying.
So proud of you.
I just left. I can't believe it's not meat just now. So shout out. But I'm trying. It's hard out here. You know what I'm saying? Because that Five Guys, they cook that stuff good at Five Guys. Man. It's fresh. It's real fresh. It's real fresh.
But the fact that you have the health event. Shout out to G Fitness right there in Wabash.
Every Sunday.
Have that.
We had that today as well. Free fitness class every Sunday.
Now, where is this at?
G Fit Training Club on 2127 South Wabash, Black Owned Training Club in South Loop.
Okay. And
so every
free.
Sunday. Yeah,
wow.
we do it free. We
time?
sponsor it. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. we do a fitness class there. And then on Thursdays we give out boost bags that have vegetables, so full of produce, mental health services, home ownership package.
I saw you had a giveaway with the sea moss.
Yeah, every Thursday we do a giveaway in a food desert.
Love it. And a lot of people are not familiar with sea moss and the benefits of that, but the fact that you're incorporating that.
And there's a packet on what it means, on how to use it and everything. So when we give it away, it's a card that talks about what sea moss is and how to use it.
But see, that's that education that you're saying that's not present.
Right.
That's the purpose, and what we're doing here with Turn Up Life is to educate. It's to give people information about a lot of the things that can help turn up their life, take everything to the next level, because I think that's what we're lacking more of anything in our community 100%. Is not knowing.
It's just not knowing. It's just education. We're not stupid or dumb. We are the most, look at our ancestors, and that's one of the education pieces that's so important is to show us who we really are.
Yes.
Come on.
Because they'll show us in a different light on TV, or you will somehow think that we just good at rapping or something, but y'all don't know, we were the number one in every field.
Everything.
And we, built everything that this country has.
We the trendsetters. They watch us to see what to do.
Everything. And so that's the education that these young people need.
And I mean, going back further than that, listen, you just really don't know. Because we're touching the surface on some things. But you're talking about, their scholars, Socrates and Plato, they learned from our universities in Timbuktu. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much information that that needs to be shared. Especially with our youth, because, some of the older generation may have it, but maybe it wasn't passed on. Or maybe, and I will say this, because our younger generation really needs to learn to listen sometimes too. Everything is full speed ahead. We got this. We know, I know. That I know generation and don't know nothing. You know a lot. I'm not going to say that, but you need to listen.
That ain't their fault, though.
Okay.
That ain't their fault. That's not the young people's fault. I'm not going to put that on our young people.
Okay.
Youth are youth. Okay. And if they not listening, it's a reason they not listening to you. And at the end of the day, that gap is what needs to be filled.
Yes, it does.
And so if you don't have a relationship with a young person to where that young person is listening to you, then you are doing something wrong, because every young person is a sponge, and every young person needs something. Every young person needs a path. And so if you can't provide them with anything, or you can't build a relationship where they like, oh, I want to listen to that person, then you got to change your approach, to change how you are. And so I want to put it, I'm not blaming the elders for this or saying they dropped the ball in any way. One generation did, but we ain't going to talk about that. But we're not going to talk about the generation that did. Y'all probably know. But at the end of the day, we got to change the approach. These young people need a relationship. You got to understand, we don't have, one of the basic things we don't have in our community is consideration. We don't understand that what these young people have actually went through. We can't go to these young people and be like, pull your pants up and do that. You don't know what, that might be his only pair of pants that he got. You don't know what he going through at home, right? We got to start having consideration and start to open up with each other and get that person to open up, and you'll start to understand why they think that way and why they do what they do.
And before we even have consideration and have conversations like that, we got to just speak to them.
Just speak.
You know
we got to have love.
They just want to be acknowledged. They right there walking past you, gonna act like you on the phone, so you don't have to recognize that young man or that young woman. Right. Just acknowledge them. Say, hey, how you doing today?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom, if they're not feeling love, you know, that's what they got to feel.
And that's
they got to feel love
from
you.
They got to feel. And I mentor young people from Africa. Met plenty of them, you know, from people who got records, who I didn't call after they didn't got records. They're like, man, I wish I was under you before I got this. People who have been shot by the police and shot by others. I got many mentees I mentor who just wanted that connection, you know, of somebody who like cared about them. Oh, Jamal, I need an Uber. I'm sending you. Or Jamal, man, I'm hungry. Or I can come over for something to eat. Or and now I got them to the point where, hey, let me talk to you, and now they want to listen. You know,
look at Lucky. Talk about Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky, and amazing.
I'm so proud.
I'm proud of him, and I'm 23 years old, and was engaged in a lot of crazy stuff coming up, because that was all that he know, and that was all that his guys were around, and they raising themselves and getting into ways on getting money, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, now he is finally on a path where he got his own business. He like the Black Stanley steamer. He got equipment. He go and clean banks and daycares and get contracts and BET awards. And 23 years old. And
in real estate?
In real estate. He owned a piece of property now that he, putting work in. And, these are the type of young people that I love. And if you met him a couple years ago, you'll just think that he just wanted to, do nothing with his life, when he just really needed the path and people to pour into him.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about that on previous shows before, the need for love in our community. I mean, our people, our younger generation, they have to feel that you care about them. First and foremost, just speaking, as they're walking down the street, keeps a lot of things at bay.
It
keeps them from looking at you as a food source a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? If you just, but that is the environment, again, we talked about earlier, that we grew up in. You remember those teachers. You remember the neighbors. You remember, sister such and such from church,
And some of our teachers we would see at church.
Absolutely.
Like it was a more communal. Or you would see them at the mall or out shopping on the weekends. It was that kind of relationship. We so spread out now.
Not everybody's scared of each other. Not everybody want to act like, it's every man for themselves. That has a change. And I haven't been that way, thank God, but we need more people. Each and every day. I'm about relationship building, and everybody I'm around, I want people to understand, and I teach my young people this. Everybody that you meet is a resource, whether they a janitor at your, they could be a janitor, they could be a rich person, they could be just somebody that, don't have nothing, but they have wisdom. We got to understand that everybody that we meet should be a part of our network and mean something. And that dialogue, that's why that dialogue is just so important.
E. Franklin Frazier wrote in his book Success Runs in Our Race, he says your network is your net worth.
100%.
So imagine if we really followed up on everybody we've met.
Yes.
Come on, man.
I utilize everybody that I meet. You know what I'm saying? Whoever, in the circle. Hey, I know what Africa get. First thing I do is see what they get. What you do? Oh, I'm good at social media. Okay, good.
Right.
I put everybody to work. That's what I do.
That's working smart. That's working smart.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's leadership.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah, because everybody has value. We all do. Everybody got gifts.
Absolutely.
We got to stop thinking that people walking around here just ain't nothing. That ain't true. They got gifts.
Absolutely. We are who we've been waiting for.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
We are who we've been waiting for.
And we need each other.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Now, I will say, going back to what we were discussing when I said the I know, we have to realize that humility is the best, one of the best characteristics that you can, that you can have, because with humility, of course, you're willing to listen, you're willing to learn. And that's whether you're a young person or an older person, it doesn't
100%.
matter. So, in those conversations that you have in the barbershops, have you kind of, because you still have those personalities. Everything isn't about, let me show this person some love and that's going to change them. You got some that's like bullheaded and I know this and I'm going to do that and what you talking about, I don't want to hear nothing about no slavery, no ancestors, you got those personalities too.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yep.
So
but we haven't had that.
Good.
Luckily, because we set the tone.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when those guys get in there in that barbershop and they feel welcome and they hear that everyone is being genuine and opening up, they put all that stuff to the side and they have real talks like, man, look, I had this wife, I had this baby mom, and they open up. Yeah, and that's what make the next person be like, okay, this is
let me go ahead.
And now it's just natural dialogue. Yeah, and so that's what's been a blessing. It ain't been no power trip or ego or none of that. And that's why I always talk about, just like I was talking about earlier, these young people's about consideration. These young people go through a lot. Yeah. We had one young person who was just very respectful, and he was just like, man, I just think the last generation or he said something like they should apologize because we've been having to figure this out on our own and there's nobody there for us. I feel like we owed an apology. We hurt, you know what I'm saying? And it was just one of those like, whoo, and one elder got up and was like, no, I apologize because you're right, we did drop the ball because we were worried about ourselves when we finally got in.
Absolutely.
And another elder was like, well, I made sure that I didn't drop the ball. So I ain't going to apologize.
Right.
But
I was going to make that point.
There.
Right.
I was there from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Mentoring young people from the beginning and continue every year of my life, including Jamal. My mentor said that. Right. And so there were people who did drop the ball and there were people who didn't. And so we were just able to have that real conversation.
Yeah.
Jobs were gotten that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Jobs,
someone needed someone to clean their business office. You know what I mean? Someone got some volunteers for the organization. Yeah. A lot of good has come out of these conversations in the barbershop.
And we make them connect and collaborate, get each other numbers and talk. We need that. That's that's why I am where I am today, is because I value relationships and I had mentorship that really cared about me. And if I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be. But I was raising myself. Kicked out of 9 schools, went to 12. So when you're talking about education, I know plenty about it. And the only teachers that didn't kick me out were my black teachers. So, there's just so much we have to do to bring back that caring approach to each other. And stop making it a, we in competition or this is about. I don't have that. And nothing that I do. Everyone knows that.
Now, listen, I'm glad that you said that about the elders or the older generation that said, one said he definitely was going to apologize. The other one said, no, I was putting in the work. Because you have that.
We have both.
You can't look at one specific generation and say they all dropped the ball. I know, our era was Public Enemy, KRS-One.
Poor Righteous Teachers.
What's y'all generation?
90s.
Well, I mean, what's y'all generation called? What was your
X?
You was X? Okay. All right. That ain't the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Like, hey, wait.
You know what I'm talking about. Go back to the next one.
Listen, we were that generation that, when the ball was dropped.
Right. There you go.
Where after Malcolm was killed, after King was killed, then
that's the generation I was talking about.
You're talking about the BM.
I'm talking about the, Okay.
But I'm saying, after that, Okay, then there was was a fear pretty much created because there was such a disappointment. I remember when we were at DuSable and just, looking at the exhibit dealing with Dr. King and just, oh my God. First of all, if you go and just interact, just really check out that exhibit because you have to put yourself in the time frame a lot of times to understand. See, we want healing, but a lot of times healing is me. Look at that other person and where they were at mentally too.
Absolutely.
Because, our elders during that time, they dealt with a lot of hurt and pain where we were building and we were coming up and the strength was there and it was black power. And then all of a sudden, you got left and right. Our leaders are being killed, and it's like how
they trying to survive.
A lot of people wanted to be accepted,
and the spirit
the community
was
start breaking. I mean, it was a lot,
and then the drug era came in, and intentionally, you know what I mean. So it's like as a people too, we have to review
things
all
breaking
of that.
up the family household. I mean, a lot of
couldn't be in the house.
A lot of policies.
Can't get no welfare if the man is there. A mess.
That was a lot, and at the end of the day, I think that we now in a time where we can pick that ball back up. While there were folks in the ex community, we still have not got to a point where we're at least on a good platform to really jump from, and we still are messed up. That's why we got 4,500 people being shot in Chicago. Our communities are just in disarray.
Now, we talked about leadership. You shared a lot of what you're doing by week. Every day of the week, you're doing something. What is next for you?
No, I think, I'm exploring a run for mayor, but I think that, and that's just because I don't have I just don't have no choice but to do so.
I love it.
We are in a real situation where if we don't have a leader that really understands the plight and everything that we talked about, at this time, we're gonna look at our neighborhood's gonna be they're going to be way, way worse than they are today in the next 4 years. And so we've been looking at that. We've been looking at leadership and the comprehension that's needed of the issues and of these neighborhoods and of the plight of the black youth and the next and the legacy of the next generation. You got to have a certain type of person for that. And so that's why I've been looking at it.
Now, what would you do as mayor as it pertains to the violence? I know it's not one answer.
No, it's not. It's not one answer.
But this weekend alone, we've already had 27 shootings. I mean, how do you address something like that?
So let me say this. This is a problem that takes a long-term response. But, they want something tomorrow. And it didn't happen in a day. Okay? This systemic oppression that have happened all of these years and generate this poverty, and we can go down the line of why there's violence. What needs to happen is there needs to be a plan that intervenes in every part of a young person's life from the grassroots level. When you're talking about household and program from the household, when kids come out that household, where do they go? They go to a school. Making sure that there are clinical staff members in that school and not harsh disciplinary actions, just kicking kids out and not caring about them. There should be care in that school. But if there's not, the next place they go is they're going to have an interaction with a police officer. There should be a program in place because the vast majority of the folks who are turned into murderers actually have committed crimes and been arrested as juvies. They just get right back out. And they keep going because they know that ain't nothing going to happen to them. Why isn't coming into a CPD, the city isn't referring them to mentoring organizations that they're mandating them to instead of sending them to juvie, right? That can help put them on the right path. Say they do go to jail for offense, where is the program to grab folks as they come out of jail, to make sure that they have every resource that they need, whether it is a program, whether it is housing, whether it is whatever's going on in their life, we should be able to grab them. There has to be a full process, right, that the city has to intervene in anyone's level of crime or leading to crime to be able to prevent crime in the future. So that's number one. Outside of that, there needs to be a huge level of investment into these communities, a focus level intention. Number one, we need to build thousands of homeowners rapidly. 60,000 people have left the South Side in the last 10 years. Hundreds of thousands are leaving, right? Wow. So that's why we're in a situation where we could possibly lose a war. We actually are going to lose a war. We could possibly lose 2 depending on what happens, right? Okay. So we lost 1. And at the end of the day, that's going to continue happening if we don't be intentional. We should have hundreds of millions of dollars that are dedicated to down payment and closing costs in these neighborhoods. And that kind of ties into a form of reparations, right? For all of the oppression that has been going on. There should be an ADOS office, right? They have an office. They have an Office of New Americans that focuses, makes all of the city departments work together to enhance the lives of the immigrant communities. And we should have the same office, Office of ADOS Americans, where it is required that city government works together to make sure they have a percentage of contracts, make sure they got a percentage of jobs, make sure they have and that
shame
office,
they don't have it already.
It's a shame that they don't have it. So that would fall under that to make sure that everybody in these neighborhoods who have been in these neighborhoods have down payment closing costs to buy a home. That means that you're building stakeholders and folks who care about their block. Then we need to look at the repurposing of the neighborhood of city lots and city abandoned buildings. There should be a tax freeze. We haven't made any money off of these properties all these years. Put a tax freeze on it and say put a criteria in place. You develop this within a year. You come from this neighborhood. You come, put a criteria in place and say you can get a 10-year tax freeze if you develop this within a year.
Because I would say that the saddest thing to see is to go through our neighborhoods and we see so many.
Where's the hope in that?
Business. Go through any other communities and you see businesses. I mean, it could be a bunch of mom and pops. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be,
And they jogging and walking their dog.
But
life is
great. But you go in our communities and literally just abandoned buildings, and it's like, wow, where are our businesses?
Right.
Where are our
where's
community
the hope for
centers?
young people when they walk out their neighborhood, walk outside their home, and they walk in their neighborhood and they see abandoned buildings, trash everywhere.
Nobody wants to see
abandoned. I mean, there's no hope there. I don't have no feeling that I can be more better than this.
Absolutely. It plays on the psyche.
It plays on the psyche. So we need large infrastructure money going into these neighborhoods to pave these streets and get these potholes. We got potholes and tax free on city property, the home ownership. So we really need intentional investment to rebuild these communities rapidly. That's number one. Okay. The prevention piece is key to start to grab these young people. And then when it comes to education, we need to pour lots of money into after school programs and trade. Why are the trade programs not as they used to be?
Absolutely.
And why is it these schools open 6, 7 o'clock at night with after school programs? So that has to change as well. So
and that provides
a few of those
jobs.
Things. And that provides jobs. So a few of those things and then, of course, bring in jobs like you talked about with economic development and putting community benefits agreements to make sure headquarters are hiring right from those communities. But it has to be a comprehensive plan. Mental health. There's just so much that goes into violence. But right now where we are, we're not doing anything that needs to be done on that list. So we got a lot of work to do, but we got to start somewhere.
Well, you let us know what your plan is, as far as running for mayor, so that we can get the support, because I believe there's definitely, it's time for change.
100%.
That's been said for a long time. It's really time for change, and it's time for a whole nother energy and voice, really to come, in my opinion, from someone that's younger, just from the younger generation that can address some of the needs that we're really dealing with a lot with our young people in the communities right now. And it's like they need a voice. They really need
that time. I mean, look at the carjackers now. The majority of carjackers are kids.
Yes,
I had a detective call me from that 11-year-old case, and he said, man, this was even before anybody knew about it. He's like, I got a kid. I don't know what to do with him. What am I going to do with him, Jamal? Can you do something? Can you take him? 11 years old. He going to juvie. He going to get right back out.
His feet can't even touch the pedal.
You going right to juvie. He going to get back out. Do it again. He did it several times. Right to juvie and get back out. Then one day, they pick up a gun and try to do it, and maybe that gun goes off, and now they kill somebody, and now they're a murderer. And none of those times where he was committing those carjackings year after year, did nobody able to grab that kid and say there's more to life than this. That's a problem. It is a problem.
So we've got too many numbers of our young people that are, involved in that type of activity. But of course, we have some amazing youth that are doing amazing things
100%.
like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that have to be highlighted. And I do have to say, and shout out to DuSable once again, because this exhibit was awesome. As a matter of fact, the first part of the exhibit, and this is leading somewhere, give me 1 second. No, the first part of this exhibit, literally you go into a room and it's all audio. Mm-hmm. The room is totally black and all you see are neon numbers on the door that say 1963.
Right.
And they're playing the audio of a scene with a bus where the bus was full of youth.
Right.
See, the youth poured out to Dr. King.
Oh, yeah.
And they knew what could happen.
Yeah.
But they were willing, ready, and able.
Right.
And so the youth is where our change comes in
There it
every
is.
time.
Every time.
And I'm just saying
Since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time.
Our founding fathers was my age.
Yeah.
Come on.
So on that
All our
note,
movements have been.
for mayor,
yep.
if he plans on running for mayor, I just would have to say, open your eyes, just be open for change, for something different.
Yeah.
I mean, how are we going to lose right now?
Come on.
What is it going to hurt? Because
Right.
what other options? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What
We got to
the
get away
hell?
from this whole, we got to get away from these folks coming from God knows where. Oh, I was this CEO over here, and I was
Right.
this Do you have comprehension of what's really going on in this city?
Right.
Right.
Do you? What is your comprehension level?
Yeah.
Do you really or do you have to get in there and then ask everybody for help for 4 years?
Yeah.
Which we're in the situation now, where the majority of the administration is from out of town. And so they don't have any connection to the communities. So now these communities are where they are.
That is so important.
And it's so important.
And how that person delegates. That
Yeah.
you can't do everything, you can't know everything.
No.
But you can delegate people
But you could
to be in
delegate.
position.
But if everybody,
That's right.
everybody in our staff, go look it up. They all of the heads of every department, all of her deputy mayors, they all from out of town. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you need a certain level of comprehension in this city in certain these areas. It's okay to get some people in certain places, but there's a lot she had a public safety head from Los Angeles. We're a different city than Los Angeles.
Very different.
Right.
You need people who understand what's going on in these neighborhoods and have been in them to be able to solve these issues.
And what we need is for our communities to be built. Like
100%.
everything that's on the outside, all that's nice, all the different buildings and, this is coming to Chicago.
Yeah.
And you're thinking more so from a money perspective.
Yeah.
Like we're not on that right now.
Right.
We're on the problems that we're facing right now every day, day to day, and dealing with our youth in particular and how it has spilled over to other communities. Everybody's suffering, so there has to be a solution for that. And it comes with focusing in on community, building
There you go.
community. You have to have somebody that has that mindset coming
That's
in
There
office.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's a reason why the North Side looks the way it does and the South
on.
Side looks
Yes.
the way it does.
When I was
Yes.
shutting down the
Yes.
Chase Bank,
Come on.
and because they weren't lending to black communities, and we were thankful to be able to get them to give up $1 billion, but there's some stuff on that because I'm still banned from Chase, and I don't believe in Chase. But listen,
Okay.
I was shutting down a Chase Bank.
Another story for another time.
Another story.
Okay.
Another story. If I get in, they're gonna spend money against me. I expect that. But I was shutting down the Chase Bank at Lincoln Park. I said, we're gonna go to Chase and Lincoln Park and shut down they branch. We went there, shut down their branch, and they calling the police and stuff. And the police was one big old guy and one car. Got out like, all right, guys, y'all done? All right, come on out. And I came out and I just looked. And I said, they got one police officer, one car. Usually in any other neighborhood, the cars, it's several cars, right?
Right.
Two people a car. If you
Wow.
call in our neighborhood at a Chase, they used to
7,
come.
8.
I was in one Chase on the south side. They came in 12 officers deep.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
12 officers
That
deep.
was on 79th and Cottage.
No, right. But I was on Ashland. They came in 12 officers deep, cars everywhere,
Wow.
right? Jamal up in here shutting down his branch. And at Lincoln Park, they had one officer. And I looked around and I said, look at this, y'all. People jogging. They don't know what's going on. They walking dogs. Businesses are thriving. I mean, it's beautiful. One officer in a car because they ain't got much to do in Lincoln Park. And at the end of the day, our neighborhoods deserve that same type
That's
of
right.
investment.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What is it to say?
That's right.
Here's $500 million for these communities for down payment and closing costs.
That's right.
What is it to say that? And make them sign on to a thing to give them all the camera, right? Becoming a homeowner so that we can surveillance the neighborhood. I mean, what is it to do that? Because it helps everybody. Help everybody. You want to raise your kids in a community where that's safe, that has decent schools. So now I done spent $500 million to get people into homes that's going to be paying taxes, that's going to go to the schools, that's going to make the schools better, that's going to make the neighborhood look better. Then if I pour a lot of folks into the communities, now we need what? Businesses, because they need somewhere to walk to. So now we pouring money into businesses, and now corporations say, well, the new population in the neighborhood, we want to build a grocery store there. Now we got a grocery store. Like, we have to rebuild and bring people back. And that is the start to rebuilding these neighborhoods and really getting our young people to see something different, have hope, and get them under control.
Listen, you got it. You hit the nail on the head, as they say. But what we do have to realize, for those that aren't conscious, I say, is that those that are in power, we can talk till we're green in the face, till we blue in the face about what's needed. Do they care?
There you go. You know, they gotta have a passion for it.
I mean, are they even concerned? No, because the thing is, of course, they want to stay in power, and they want to make sure that, you know, our neighborhoods are still in the situations that they're in. Yeah. That still, you know, allows them to be in the power position. So, but I will say this: we are running out of time as usual.
Sure.
Mr. Jamal Green, tell everybody where they can find you. I've got myturntown.org.
Yeah, they can go to myturntown.org and sign up there to get assistance with owning a home. They can go to Jamal Green anywhere, J_M_A_L Green as the color on Facebook, and everywhere else at Jamal Green, JAYMAL Green as the color.
Now, before we go, Z, you know, he has something in common with you.
What's that?
He can sing.
Can you sing, Jamal?
New Edition was here. Give us a little New Edition.
New Edition.
Come on, Turn Up Live viewers. Y'all ready for some in?
Come on. You gonna say it with me? You gonna say it with me? What we say?
Go ahead, I'll tell me what you got.
Say it with me. How that Can You Stand the Rain go? I forgot how that. Ain't that New Edition? That's New Edition.
Yes.
Go ahead, start it off.
Start
it off. I forgot the words. Then I'm gonna come in.
Can you stand the rain?
There you go.
Sun will come.
Everybody loves them. Can you, baby, tell you stand the rain? All right, there y'all
go. I love it. Not the artistic vibe.
That's my first profession.
Oh, man, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate
Thank you
y'all.
So
Y'all are amazing.
much.
Y'all are beautiful. I love this show. And anytime in the future.
Thank you. Let us know where your giveaways. What's your next giveaway?
Yes, definitely. Our next giveaway is on Thursday. We give the location on Thursday, so the only way to get it first is to sign up to be on our VIP list. You can text Green Team all together, Green Team to 33777. That's Green Team to 33777, and then you'll get a text alert of where we're going to pull up.
One more time,
it.
Green Team.
Green Team all together at 33777. If you text that to it, then you're on our list.
Okay, and we're going to post that on our Facebook Live, Facebook social media as well, so that you all have that. So definitely connect with Brother Jamal Green, and one way or another, connect with him, because he's got a lot going on that you can benefit from. And if you know somebody that can benefit, that wants to own a home, that can benefit from one of the giveaways with the health products or the fitness program that is for free, you know, every Sunday. Every Sunday. So, man, much love to you. Much love, much respect. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
Really appreciate
you.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in to Turn Up Life, where we tell you and ask you, please, to keep going and keep growing. Whatever you're going through, just keep going. Grow through it. You can definitely do it. We all do it. You're here right now as a result of some things you've already overcome. So keep on going. Celebrate you, elevate you, and let's help uplift our community too. And let us always turn up life.
Turn up life.
anything else.